Hey, welcome to Guitar on Record, a show about adventurous guitar players and some of their best recordings. Today is a really special record. As you know, if you've watched my channel before, I'm a big Robert Fripp fan. I'm really into a lot of his catalog and a lot of his playing. Huge influence on me as a guitar player as well. And today I wanted to talk about the box set, The Great Deceiver. This is still out there and available, and probably for about the same amount I bought it for 25 years ago or whenever it came out. 92, yeah. So I bought it like within a couple of years of that, so that's more than that. So 30 years ago. I love this version of the band, which is Bill Bruford on drums, Robert Fripp on guitar, John Wetton on bass and vocals, and David Cross on violin. And he may have played keyboards too, I'm not sure. Or that might have been Robert, I'm not sure. But there's some cool Mellotron stuff in here occasionally. This is the band at their apex for me. The Lark's Tongues and Aspic record was kind of cool. Jamie Muir was on that. He was kind of a cool element, kind of made it a little more dangerous because I think he was pretty unpredictable. But I think once they got here, they had kind of played enough together that they kind of knew each other. And definitely a volatile band because John Wetton was always turning the bass up or whatever. But I really, really love his singing and the bass playing. It's not over the top, but it's just really, really tight and good. And you'd have to be playing with these guys, so he could really hang in there with them for sure. So most of these shows are culled from shows in the States, in the United States, and there's some from November 73 and through, looks like June 74 and July 74. So basically, roughly a year or so of different performances recorded in the United States. It comes with this really cool booklet that is kind of worth it in the sense of it has this cool kind of introduction where Robert's talking about the business, the audience, what it was like in the 70s, his personal opinions on the music business then and how messed up it was and all of those kind of things. So kind of cool. And then he just kind of has like a road diary, which I think is also on the website. That's more current. It may go back this far, but it's kind of cool to hear. He hits all the highlights, pretty mundane highlights. It's rarely about the show, except if there was some kind of like point of contention or or if it was a great show or if it was really bad. Doesn't really go into detail about a certain song or maybe there's a little bit of that. But anyway, that's really cool. And here's a great picture of the band. There's some good pictures in it. The only annoying thing is like it's thin and this way, so it's kind of hard to read and keep in your hand. And then as you go forward, there's all sorts of like kind of critical, like critics rating the show. Here's like just different different music writers or critics or whatever talking about the band. Some pretty funny ones, some really good ones, some really critical, meaning in a negative sense, and some positive. So it's kind of a cool, and there's a lot of that. There's a lot of reviews of just King Crimson and from different publications all put into this. And then at the very end, kind of neat, they do a recap of the tour as far as the dates and where it was at. Basically, I think it starts in 73 in February. And that I always think that's kind of cool because I remember looking through this and like, oh, did they ever play where I'm from, Toledo, Ohio? And they did in May of 73. May 13th, they played the Club Agora, which those were kind of all over Ohio. There was one in Cleveland and one in Columbus, and so that's kind of neat to me. And then they go to Europe, and and funny, I lived in Kent, Ohio, and in July 2nd, 1973, they played Kent State University. So I guess if you're in Ohio, you were lucky to see King Crimson quite a bit. I'm just quickly seeing if there's other Ohio dates. Yeah, but Akron, which is pretty close to Kent, they played the Civic Forum or Civic Theater, but that was, I think, '74. Anyway, they really toured a lot, and this record shows it. I'm going to start on the first disc. So kind of cool packaging. That's kind of why I bought it, or not why I bought it, but I thought that was kind of a nice plus. And so on the first disc, it always has kind of intro with like a No Pussyfooting, like a recording of that. And that kind of is the intro. And they go into Lark's Tongues and Aspic, Lament, Exiles. Lament is off of Starless and Bible Black, and Night Watch. There's some improv. Easy Money's on this one as well, and Fracture and Starless. All of those last two, Fracture and Starless, are obviously on Starless and Bible Black. The one thing a lot of these suffer from is there's a lot of repeats of like a very small catalog, and I kind of think, in my personal opinion, I'm not a completist. I think I could have, they could have done 3, and it would have been super cool. It would have covered all the territories. And I remember one of the improvs got pulled out and became Trio, which is on Starless and Bible Black, which is one of my favorite King Crimson songs. It's kind of got a cool Robert Fripp kind of, complex meter, kind of like solo guitar thing with some really quiet bass and quiet drums. That's really, really a cool piece on Starless and Bible Black. The second disc is, this one is from '73, and this one's, I take it back, this says it was in Glasgow. So that's in Europe, or the UK, sorry. This one has a bunch of improvs. Again, it has Lark's Tongues and Aspic, Book of Saturday, Easy Money. I'm not a big Easy Money fan. I don't really like that song. Night Watch, improv. And this one's kind of interesting because it has peace and a theme. That song, I love that song. Cat Food. I, could do without that, but I'm glad there's a different song on it. So yeah, but the highlights are incredible. So I'm not trying to say that it's not necessarily worth it. I just think there's a lot of repeats of songs that I personally don't love. Like, I'd love to hear this box set applied from '73 to like the Red tour. I don't know if they did a tour. That'd be great to know if anyone knows. But like that era, like hearing songs off Red, because those 3 records are really closely related, in my opinion, and I would have loved to hear all of that. I have this funny feeling that there was no tour after the Red record. I'm going to look that up, but if you know, please comment. The third disc, this one is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, '74. Again, No Pussyfooting, The Great Deceiver, an improv, Exiles, improv, The Night Watch, Dr. Diamond. That's another song that never made it to a record, and I kind of know why. I don't really love that one. Great version of Starless, and the talking drum. That's kind of a cool thing to hear. That wasn't on the earlier ones. And Lark's Tongues and Aspic Part 2, abbreviated, so just a short little thing. And there is also at the end of this one, there's like from Penn State University, it looks like a month later, there's some cool stuff, like an announcement and all of that and applause, and then they go into an improv that's like 12 minutes long. So the improv stuff, if you're really into that, there's probably, a CD or plus, 2 CDs worth of improv stuff on these. So the fourth and final disc is recorded in Toronto, in 1974. I was wrong. Not all of these are in America. They're kind of all in Europe as well. So Toronto, sorry, that's not, that's in North America. But there's one in Zurich on part of this disc as well. So this one has Night Watch, Fracture, Improv, and then they break, and it looks like they probably pulled the best parts from a lot of shows. That's probably what I would guess. I would hope. And this one has the same thing. Starts with the No Pussy Footing intro. They do Lark's Tongues and Aspic Part 1. There's some improv stuff. So a lot of improv on this. Easy Money, and then the talking drum. So this one, number 4, has the most improv on it. I would say it's like 50% improv pieces. So I guess for me, I listened to this nonstop for many, many years. I was never a big Yes fan for the longest time. I liked it. I listened to it, when I was younger, but I just heard what was like the bigger songs or whatever. But King Crimson I love from the first note, and I think I bought. Someone gave me a promo copy, of the Discipline record, and they just happened to be touring in the Midwest. Like I'd never heard of them. I was into fusion and all of that, but I don't think I knew anything about them. And I heard that, and it's like everybody, was like, holy shit, what's going on? Like such a cool departure from most music. And so I got to see them, I think, at the Michigan Theater. It's so long ago that I think I was 15 and we drove up there. It was pretty close to where we live. But really amazing show. I'm really glad I saw it. And that's my favorite of the 80s King Crimson records, like probably most of us. But what I was trying to say is, like, I listened to this so much. The only thing that broke me away from listening to this almost every day, at least one of the discs, is my brother sent me basically all the Yes records, from the Yes record to what's the last? Relayer, through that. So whatever that is, 5 records. And I just started listening to those. And I listened to those every day, all of them, every day for like 4 or 5 years. And not exclusively per se, but almost. And so it was so funny to come from the King Crimson box set and then go into these years of listening to Yes when I had really not listened to them before. And I have such a soft spot in my heart for Tales of the Topographic Ocean. I would listen to that so many times. I have to say, when I go back and listen to it now, I am not as enamored with it. I still think it's a great record, and in no way should it be changed or anything like that. I think Steve Wilson's done a remix of that, and I'd love to hear that. But enough talking about Yes. So King Crimson, the Great Deceiver box set, still available on Amazon. I saw it used for $60 or so. If you want kind of a starter introduction to their live catalog, I guess this is a great way to start. I'm sure on the DGM site, I'm sure a lot of discs are available of a single show. I'm sure that's kind of what, if I remember right, I haven't checked it out for a while, they were just releasing whole shows on discs that you could buy, and only from them, and at probably pretty good quality compared to bootlegs. So anyway, I appreciate you watching this. If you got this far, if you love Robert Fripp as much as I do, check out my other content. As far as, I got quite a few record reviews of Robert, the League of Crafty Guitar Players, Exposure, Let the Power Fall, this, and the David Sylvian and Robert Fripp record, A New Day. I'm not sure what else there is that I can talk about, but I may have to delve a little deeper. I really want to do Ivant's Mass by Andy Summers and Robert Fripp. I unfortunately at some point sold a couple thousand CDs just to thin it out, and at the time I wasn't really listening to this kind of stuff anymore. I was listening to fusion and kind of more modern classical music and stuff like that. And I needed money, so I sold a bunch of discs. And I regret that to this day because trying to find I Advance Mast on a disc CD is really hard and very expensive. You can buy it on vinyl for nothing, but I don't have a turntable. So anyway, enough of my first world problems, I guess. But all right, anyway, have a great day. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you soon.